Yeah. Ay. Yeah. Ay. Yeah. Boys. Yeah. Hold on. We them boys. Hold on. We them boys. Hold on. We making noise. Hold on.
Welcome back to the best NFT show in the world. I bet you like that one, Ronan. We are about to have a banger of an episode. There are about 250 people in chat. We are going to have ourselves a good time. We're bringing all the news from around the industry and into one episode. An absolute banger today, man. I'm excited. Ronan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Shout out to Buffalo in the back, right? Like putting up some excellent music to get us hyped for today's episode. We want to give a huge shout out to the Oni community, personal corner. We've got so much coming at you guys today. The content should be excellent. The conversation should be great. Q obviously is suited up and ready to go. So tell me about it, man. It's going to be a good episode.
No Dez jersey. Dez, I will get your jersey. I promise, man. I throw up the X. Dez caught it. Hashtag everything. Hashtag we them boys, whatever. You know, I'm super excited for this episode, man. Like Ronan said, we have Personal Corner. We've got Oni Force. We've got some news to get to. I want to give a quick shout out to Rev Racing, who is our sponsor for today's episode. Rev Racing and Rev Motorsport is a gaming motorsport metaverse that leverages emerging and cutting-edge tech to provide true digital ownership for players, fans, and collectors. Motorsport includes brands in the gameplay experiences such as F1 Delta, MotoGP Ignition, and Formula E High Voltage. And they add that Rev token in there to make it a true play-to-earn economy. So super excited about our sponsor for this month. We have a bunch of other sponsors to get to as well. Our network is growing like crazy, man, and I'm just excited to be here and have the interviews that we have, connect with the people that we can connect, and also connect with you guys in chat, man. Keep that chat rolling. It looks like it's absolutely fire right now, man. So I appreciate you guys showing up today on this Tuesday to really have ourselves an awesome time, man. So Buffalo, I know you're in the background there, man. How are you doing there as the director of all of the shows on our network here at LADZ City?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. And you guys, we done hit a record. This is an all-time high. Cue the balloons. That's right.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. We've hit, I think I saw 225 at one point. So, yeah, man. How about that? Thanks, everybody, for showing up. This is NFT Live here on LADZ City. We do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. So, yeah, man, have a great show, you guys.
Absolutely, man. All right, this is what we're going to do. We had all this like LADZ preview to get to. It just seems like we need to just get to the episode, doesn't it, Ronan? Does it? Yep. It just feels that way.
I think we need to hop in an episode. We need to give these guys some content to jump into, man. I'm really excited the fact that we've got some really cool guests. Like, you know, a year ago, we're like trying to piece together news segments and figure out what we're going to do. And here we are, like, man, there's, you know, projects dropping every day. And a lot of the projects that we're starting to see come to the table now are being backed by big names, are being backed by big brands. And they're starting to see, I think, the power that NFT technology brings to community, right? So to be able to share that profit and to share that value add, right, is a very unique relationship that hasn't really been there before. So obviously, you know, we've got Personal Corner coming up. After that, we've got Oni, which is like this, you know, entire brand upon itself. Shout out to the Nameless. I'm a Nameless, and I just have to say I'm a Nameless before it was a pre-sale list. And dude, it's just, that's what we're building here, right? Like, it's that next step in like just community. So, you know, I'm excited about this one.
Absolutely, guys. This is what you're going to do. You're going to like the video if you like the content here that we're about to bring you that you've already seen. If it's your first time here, again, we're bringing you NFT news from around the industry. We got a ton of different creators on the channel that have their own series of shows within the NFT space. So give it a subscribe if you can. But without further ado, man, we have the Personal Corner team. We have Dan McCreesh, co-founder, and Josser Akoli, co-founder and CTO of Personal Corner. Des, we're going to get on the channel here shortly. So again, shout out to Des Bryant, man. One of my, honestly, my wide receiver. That's my wide receiver growing up. But we have his company here, and Dan and Josser as well, that we're going to bring in and talk Personal Corner. Guys, how are you doing today?
Doing great, guys. It's pretty
Awesome.
Cool show you guys out here.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. Honestly, we are super excited because, as Ronan said, when we first started NFT Live, there wasn't this quality of project. There wasn't this feeling in the air that big things are happening, right? It was just getting started. So excited to have you guys on here today to talk Personal Corner. What is Personal Corner for those that maybe are tuning in for the first time, don't know about it?
Yeah, no doubt. Just to give you a little backstory real quick. You know, this whole thing kind of came together, Josh, or maybe a couple months ago. But what took me by surprise was that Des has been building this for a couple of years. And Josh, I don't know how long you've been on this. I think about a year or so. But I was kind of building out this college athlete platform. I reached out to Des, I think, on Twitter, and he sent me an Instagram DM and said, "Yo, what's your number?" And not every day that you get a response back from Des in a DM. We got on a Zoom, myself, and Eileen talked for a couple hours, and within 48 hours, I was down in Dallas, sitting at Des's kitchen table, talking about how we can merge and intersect these concepts, and it was pretty fucking wild. I gotta be honest.
Can I just say one thing? You're a Giants fan, though, man. How did Des? Des, come on, man. You couldn't find a Cowboys fan to do this with.
You know what, man? Like, I'll be honest. Like, I recognize how real his passion was in the space, how he was engaging. It's interesting. I feel like in the NFT space, a lot of people come in through art, and then community is now being built on the back end. I came in through the community avenue, and I'm finding more appreciation for the art as I, go along my endeavors. Saw one today with, I think it was Party Bones with skeletons. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. And I'm finding that appreciation for the digital art. So it's pretty cool how organic it's happening.
Yeah, right now we're seeing a whole lot of innovation in like the space and like what, people are doing. Obviously, you're talking about Party Bones, which is unique in that like you get these bones and then you piece them together to create, pieces of a skeleton. I think the first drop is going to be pieces of a skull, and then eventually you'll put together an entire skeleton. So like knowing that like this is the type of innovation that's coming is really cool. But I'd love to hear a little bit about like how did you guys how does Des Bryant all of a sudden hear about NFTs and to put frankly, give a shit enough that he wants to personally invest like his time and his face and like his likeness, because obviously a man of like him is going to protect his personal brand. So I'm really interested in how this all comes together.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Josser elaborate a little bit more on this, but real quick, I wanted to, Josser. I feel like we've been working together now for 2 months, but we connected really quickly. The very unique part about what we're doing is, whether it's Des, whether it's Eileen, his lady, who's the quarterback of the ship, whether it's myself, who's kind of on the front facing, and then there's Josser, who's on the dev side of things. We're very cohesive. Des will not take the conversation further until we're all on the same page, which is very, very cool. All four of us have to be aligned at all times, and if we're not, he will stop the conversation and he will say, "Are we all on the same page?" And once we're all on the same page, we move it forward. And it's very cool to have that, just the cohesiveness within the leadership team. I think that's cool. But yeah, Josser, go ahead.
Yeah, no, to kind of piggyback what Dan said, right? Like you would think an athlete, has his way of work and kind of is in that form, but from me, where I come from a technology and kind of process perspective, where we do things in a cadence, in an iterative fashion, kind of get things that vision aligned, and being able to kind of explain that process. Like, athletes are coachable, right? So they're open to new ideas, especially if they help you achieve the goals faster and more, to the expedited point. That tech space elevates team players. That's kind of what it does. And by him, Des Bryant, kind of putting himself in that position and saying, okay, no, are we aligned? Has that leadership transformation phase space. So for him to implement himself into technology and then deeper dive into NFTs, I think that's where that model comes from. He's truly an athlete as a person, and not even just on the field, but the way he handles himself when we're having business stakeholder meetings, when we're having partnership meetings, when we're having tech scrum calls at 9 a.m. in the morning or 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, it's quite interesting to see how an athlete really puts himself in that position and becomes a coach and is coachable at the same time. So I mean, that's kind of the background. And to Dan's point, that dining table where we kind of sat at, that was my first interview and expression with them as well. Eileen and Des, I mean, that's a team, man. Let me tell you, these guys, like, you would never think that Des Bryant knows about NFTs and technologies the way he does. That level of understanding. I mean, he as Dan said, he started this in 2016. This idea really came to that, from him. And I specifically remember him telling me a story about this one time where he was playing 2K. And that's kind of where it sparked an idea in his head. And he even got into an argument with the person he was playing with, saying, no, this is going to be the future. And the gentleman that he was with disagreed, said, oh, no, gamification isn't a thing. You can't really own things. And that's kind of where his brand comes in play, right? He owns his brand. That's his ownership of it. And he's able to utilize the technology, leverage that, and be complete owner of it and have the credibility and accessibility to do whatever you want with it. I think that's where that vision really connected for him. And being able to see that from a person who doesn't come from a tech background, but being able to really implement that tech background in his system, that was really cool. I personally thought as an athlete, you never really get to see an athlete get to that nitty-gritty level of details. But man, it's a really cool feeling to be able to see Des do that.
Yeah, so I remember in the first week when I was on board and we were FaceTiming and Des was like, Dan, like, I need you to see this. I need you to get it. And I was like, and the pastor was coming out. So like, he's like, when you see this, you call me back. So then Eileen calls me like 2 seconds later and she's like, so Des, he reads the playbook. So you got to draw the playbook and let him know what route you're running so he can throw the ball. I was like, all right, I got it. Right. So then like 20 minutes later, mapped out the playbook, ran it by Josser and Eileen, and then Des was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But like when I say Eileen's the quarterback, like she knows how, from an emotionally intelligent standpoint, getting everybody on that same page so that we're all kind of saying the same thing but heading down the same lane.
Yeah, you guys have a drop plan for September 2nd, I believe, and I'm super excited to get all of the information related to Personal Corner out and how you guys are attacking this by bringing sports brands, sports athletes into NFTs, helping empower them. Because honestly, it's the same thing with artists. It's the same thing with musicians and things like this, where there's going to be Des Bryants of that field that'll be fine anyways. The real power comes from empowering the athletes that are not the 1%, right? Like, that's super exciting. I saw Des on a video with Terrence Williams, another one of my favorite wide receivers, and they were talking all this out and empowering athletes, man. That's super exciting at the college and high school level. So can you give us more information on what Personal Corner is going to do, a roadmap detail potentially? If you could lay all that out, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll give it a little overview of looking at it as if you have the athletes on one side, you have this NFT world on the other side, and we're kind of that intersecting point. There's a lot of, without getting the negative of the space, right? A lot of pump and dump. Not great communities out there. We've been fortunate enough to interact. I mean, we announced a partnership with a collaboration with Gutter Cat Gang. That was probably my first real, I think it was 11:30 at night, and I sat on this Discord. It was gang, shout out. Gutter Cat Gang, man, they come out firing.
Yeah,
I think we're on the Discord at 4 a.m. It was crazy, and then the next day I'm talking to Dan and Mitch and Rick, and we're just talking about how to make this work. We're going to the Royal Society player event tomorrow night in the city. We've partnered with Shark Cove. Right now their drop is going on. Shout out Shark Cove. Their founders. Look, at the end of the day, it's about the roadmap and the journey, right? So these guys struggled in the early. I think they sold out 25% last night. But now these guys go out today and they're giving away a Tesla. They're giving away an Ape once they hit, I think it's 75%. So these are the founders that we want to be engaged with, the guys that are there for the community, that they're there for the long term. But as far as Personal Corner goes, I would say we probably have 24 pro athletes right now that we are engaged with, bringing into the space organically. And aligning them with not only ourselves but the right communities inside the space, and kind of making it this little bit of a trusted ecosystem, where they can kind of empower themselves, own their brand, own their apparel, like own all these things. And look, we are not going after the agent. This is something that honestly I'm very passionate about. Jerry Maguire, there's a reason that the whole thing is out there. The smart contract allows for ownership and transparency in the system. To all the agents and agencies out there, we are not coming for your job. We are trying to actually work with you. And I'm going to call, not by name, a few of them out right now, because we did a case study on the NBA draft. And the agents are so there were 3 fucking kids that did not get drafted that we could have done a drop for. And now they don't have that opportunity for a drop. But the agents were so protective over their brand and what it could dilute and saturate, when they didn't get drafted. They're not on a team. So now you have this kid who Dez and Personal Corner offered a $25,000 signing bonus to do this with us for. Now they get nothing. So yes, there's a percentage that's allocated to the athlete, and the agent or the agency that we're partnering with on the other side, we're not taking it out of the athlete's cut. We're giving it out of our side. So that way the player wants to bring in their agent. They want to bring in, the guy that they trust. And it's not this balancing control of power that really doesn't need to exist.
Yeah, I think to Dan's point, we're not taking the power, we're empowering these athletes from education all the way over to getting them launched into the ecosystem, right? So it's a whole end-to-end process that we're kind of giving to them and helping them with. So it's not just taking the power, it's empowering them, giving them the leverage to be able to bring resources that they want to bring onto the table as well.
That's excellent. I think that obviously a lot of us can identify that have been in the space, the need for someone to bridge the gap, especially when it comes to education. So I really appreciate where you guys are filling that gap and that need. I do want to shout out to the chat. It's super lit. Everybody's been showing lots of love to all the communities. That's Oni, LADZ. We got everybody in here. The GSA is in here. What's up, guys? So if anybody has any questions, we're getting ready to kind of wrap this up with the first interview. So make sure you're dropping that in chat. My kind of last question for you guys before you cut out is what is the one thing you want the NFT community to know and understand about this project as you guys are kind of leading into this point of kind of releasing press and getting this thing drummed up?
Mark your calendars for November 4th. Just block the day off.
Yep.
The whole day.
The whole day.
Yep.
The night before, the night after, whatever. Just
yeah. You might need some recovery period. Yeah.
That's the last day of NFT. Sorry, I was gonna say that's the last day of NFT NYC.
Yep. It's also Dez's birthday.
Are you guys going to NFT NYC by chance? Are we giving away too much? What's happening here?
Time is up here. I think my alarm's going off. No.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
awesome.
Honestly, man, it's cool to connect with people in the space that are trying to build this space forward in the right way. We see with the frothiness in the industry right now, where you mentioned pump and dumps. There's a lot of price talk and all these things. We just want to connect with cool teams just like yourself, man, and appreciate you guys coming on today, man, and breaking it down. Sports is going to be 100% a big player in the NFT industry, and we're excited to see you guys build that.
No doubt. Shout out New York Times. You want to write an article or here?
There's some rumors out there. About
man.
New York Times. Yeah, man. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you hopping on and having a chat, and hopefully we'll get to chat again soon.
Yeah, you got it. This is great.
Thanks for your time, guys.
All right, have a good
All
one.
right, Dan. Hey, go Cowboys, man.
Guys. Go Giants.
Oh, I thought you showed him. I thought we were gonna get the last laugh there, but. Dude, great episode, great interview there, man. I appreciate those two guys, and they're coming about it in the right way. Absolutely phenomenal, and the fact that Dez Bryant is at the helm is couldn't ask for a cooler story, man. Super stoked.
Absolutely, and we talked about. We've talked about it a lot in the past, and just what does this look like when celebrity starts to come in? And it's interesting because 6 months ago it was definitely a different approach, right? Like now we're starting to see them come in. And what I love about this is educate, right? Like, and not only are they getting educated, but like they're making sure that like their peers are being educated as well. And like I think you touched on it earlier, which was the fact that not everybody's going to be successful. Not everyone's going to be the 1%, right? Like, so what happens to athletes when they're outside of when they're done and their brand doesn't have that same weight, right? Like, so like they have to capture that value as much as possible. And we talk about that with the creator economy and how NFTs play into that. And this is a good example on how you can capture more value that you yourself are putting out into the world, right? So shout out to Personal Corner. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been chat is super lit. We've got 240 people hanging out with us. I know everybody's super excited about Oni.
What's Oni Force? Do we have a story about Oni Force that we're touching on today? Is that I don't think we're touching on Oni Force today.
No, we've got like ON1 or something. Somebody told me ON1 or 0
How dare you?
It's in there. It's in there somewhere, man. Shroomba's saying, but did Dez catch it? Listen, put it to rest. Dez caught it. We all know. But as Ronan said, we do have another awesome project, and you guys are absolutely flooding the chat, man. Oni Force is going to come on here. We're going to ping the team. I think Ronan is going to ping the team and make sure that they are ready to roll. In the meantime, between them making their way to LADZ City, I think it'll take about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on it. If they had to stop for gas or some type of food or had to go to the bathroom, but they are on their way to LADZ City right now. We will have the Oni Force team here momentarily, but in the meantime, we're going to touch on 4 stories from the NFT space. Guys, this will take just a second. We just want to make sure we're doing the NFT space some justice. Ronan, do you want to hit the first story here?
Yeah, so I think with everything going on, it's actually quite possible that people don't know that this happened over the weekend. But essentially, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, this is the story about them being in Christie's, which is very cool. They'll be in Christie's next month at the beginning of the month. However, over the weekend, they did announce that the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, they kind of tease that, right? Like, I don't know if you have that image, which was really, really cool. I love this, man. It's just the way that they're building out these almost like sub brands within this like larger brand is really cool. And I'm interested to see like, where does this go? And I think the idea of the first, like now getting to that breedable stage, like what does breeding look like? Like, well, how are they going to implement the traits? Like, are you going to have to burn? Are you going to have to, pick traits? Like, what are they going to do? Everybody's kind of like sitting on the edge of their seat. So we're really looking forward to this one. Obviously we're, huge Bored Ape fans. And I hope that we get to see them continue to innovate.
Still waiting on my Bored Ape merch. I think it drops like sometime in September, correct? Like we already purchased. I didn't get the hat. Okay, look, I didn't get a hat. No, I didn't get a hat. You could send.
I got a couple. I got a few around here. I don't know.
Of course, Ronan has the hookup when it comes to the Bored Ape Yacht Club hats. Shout out to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, Des Bryant has a Bored Ape as well. He has an amazing Bored Ape there. So you can see that is one of probably right now the premier community within the NFT space. There's a couple that probably can make that argument, but we will kind of cede to the Bored Apes there. So next story here. I've got an awesome community and an awesome story here. Aavegotchi is launching Haunt 2, and shout out to NFT Plazas there. Look at who we see there who made an entrance onto this story. We've got LADZ right about there. Holding up the LADZ City sign, one of the Aavegotchis that we have within our own community in Gotchi LADZ channel. We have channels for a lot of NFT Play To Earn games. Aavegotchi is included in this, but Aavegotchi is launching Haunt 2 here on, let's see, this says July 18th, but that is not correct. They are launching momentarily. Let me see if I can get that. Haunt 2 will run from August 26th to August 29th, 2 p.m. UTC until 2 p.m. UTC on that 29th period. There's going to be some cool aspects here to this sale. There's going to be an auction house, and I'll take you in to the actual auction house here. And here is the mechanic and the game theory here. So first to place a bid, if you get outbid, we'll get refunded plus an additional payout of 10 up to 10% of the original bid amount. Bidding continues until the timer runs out. If a bid is placed near the end of the auction timer will be extended. After the auction is finished, the highest bidder can claim their NFT from this Haunt 2 drop. So the reason they did this was because they sold out instantly from that 10,000 drop in Haunt 1, but people said there wasn't much engagement actually after the drop. It lasted a couple minutes and it was done. This is a way to gamify that engagement with the auction house. So shout out to the Aavegotchi team, Coder Dan and that squad absolutely gets it done. All they do is ship, and I'm sure this will sell out easily. So shout out to the Aavegotchi there.
Dude, Aavegotchi is one of those projects that I distinctly remember hearing about at the beginning, like when I first got into the space like a year ago, and like all these things they were going to implement. And I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier with Zed Run as well. It's just really cool to finally hit that stage where the things we were talking about a year ago are actually now getting implemented, right? Like this gamification of the drop is really cool. Shout out to Aavegotchi. I think that Gotchis I got to get one. I got to talk to our ambassador and make that happen. So it looks really, really cool.
Shout out to Choina for that, by the way, ambassador.
Yeah, shout out Choina. Shout out Choina for the huge support in the GSA chat. Like showing up. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So our next story up is the Generative Masks. So these Generative Masks dropped over the weekend and they sold out pretty quickly. There was 10,000 of them. What's kind of cool about these is the art actually changes every time you reload them. So what that means is the aspect of the NFT that stays the same is going to be the outline that you guys are seeing, like of the shape, I guess, that was generatively produced. And then if Q wants to hit reload, you'll see the patterns and the shapes, and basically like the color palette gets swapped out for another one. So it's a really cool concept. We're seeing like this whole play on like the fact that like the NFT could be changed, right? Even though like you own it, but like how can you make that fun, and how can you make that something that's part of the experience? So I love to see what they're doing. I like to see innovation in the space. Generative Masks. Those are pretty cool, man.
Absolutely, man. And they sold out pretty quickly, all 10,000 of those. So we will keep watching that community as well. Really, really awesome little technique, little feature there for that drop. So, all right, last couple stories. The team is here. I believe we have them. So I'm going to touch on these last pieces. Buffalo, we do have some Chicken Derbs to get to. Chicken Derby is a sponsor for this month. And there he is. We had to touch on Chicken Derby. Chicken Derby is going to be a Zed Run competitor. You have these assets, you have these chickens that have these different traits that you then race for potential rewards. We're super stoked on Chicken Derby. The upcoming sale is going to be on August 20th. Buff, you want to roll that? Well-timed chicken there. That chicken is not even part of that video, and it looks like it is. But anyways, 0.042, it is going to be on the Matic network. These chickens have shot up in price since the last mint. So this is your kind of last chance to get them at mint price of 0.042. If you get some, there's different rarities, different traits that you can then use in game. Super excited for Chicken Derby as we move forward into the next couple months. So, all right, last bit here. I wanted to touch on Illuvium because I'm a huge Illuvium fan, to be honest. They had a couple announcements come through, mainly around these character drops. So we had a little bit of character leaks that I'm going to get to here. But you can see they dropped recently 2 recent characters. One is going to be a water buffalo. It's buffalo something blue. I need to make sure that I have the right caribou. So it looks like the Philippines is big for caribou. So they launched a caribou here style asset, as well as another asset that you can see here. I love the examples here that they're giving because it shows a little bit more of that senior texture artist they actually just hired. You can see the care that is being put into all these characters, and I cannot wait to catch them in the open world and use them in that TFT style battle. So super stoked on Illuvium. The token price has absolutely, I think it's 10x'd since like 2 or 3 months ago. Me and Buffalo have been sad that we did not pick up more at $40. That's for sure.
Illuvium, that's another one of like, you know, it's another one that missed the boat, right? Like I didn't quite make that one either. So I know that chat is a little bit lit, and I think that they're super excited about our next guests that are getting ready to come on. But I did want to remind everybody that you are hanging out here in LADZ City. This is NFT Live. We do the show every Tuesday and Friday of the week. But as far as a network in LADZ City is concerned, we have a network of content creators that have shows. I think we're at like 6 days out of the week, right? Like the only day we don't have content is Saturday. We've got an exciting Discord channel. If you go to lads.city, that will take you to our Notion page. You can find the link. You can drop into Discord and become a lad. We've got a social token that, you know, we provides for access you can gain through basically just hanging out and learning about NFTs and sharing your information. We've got game, ambassadors from like these programs are super tied in, super dialed in. So make sure you check that out as well. And lastly, I would ask, if you have not hit the thumbs up, please make sure you like the video. It helps so much. If you haven't hit subscribe and you're having a good time, please hit subscribe. And lastly, take the link for the video that you guys are watching right now, because I know all 250 of you are hype as hell for this project that's about to come on and have a chat. Every one of you take that link and share it one place. I don't care if it's a DM to your mom or you're sending it to like your 10-year-old daughter. Like, these guys are cool. Like, I don't expect that we're going to have any like, X-rated content or anything. So, but if you guys do that, it shows the channel a whole lot of love. And it helps us grow and continue to get really cool opportunities to where we can have conversations with Personal Corner, Des Bryant, hopefully in the future, and the team of Oni Force.
Come on, Des.
How do you feel about that?
Dude, I'm super stoked. You did a fantastic breakdown. I'm going to show my screen really quick of our Discord. We're a cross-project community. So really, the enthusiasts and the community members within LADZ City, we have the ability to kind of cover multiple projects. As you can see, Ronan was talking about there. We have gaming guilds, Aavegotchi, Chicken Derby, Illuvium, Star Atlas, Zed Run. We have a loot box where if you hold a certain amount of LADZ tokens, it looks like Fun Uncle just won this chicken. We had a Cyber Kongs giveaway a little while ago that was, I think, won by Stamina. No. It was won by, who was it won by? Marty McFly. Marty McFly won that CyberCon. So that giveaway is going to be continuing to go on for our noble lads. But, without further ado, man, you guys have been waiting the whole episode. There are 260 people in chat, and a lot of them, I think, are waiting on Oni Force. So we are super excited to welcome in the team. We are definitely ready to get ready to roll for this interview, man. So, Rona, you want to bring the team in?
Absolutely. Super hyped for this interview, man. I found out about Oni Force a little early. I'm a follower of just about everybody that's on the team that's putting this one together. So I obviously, I was like, I got to check out what they're doing as a squad. Cause I followed all of them individually, which is really cool. Like when you see people that you didn't necessarily know were connect, and then create something really cool that they had a passion about, that you can see in chat that their community shares a passion for, right? So super excited to bring Oni on. I don't know, Buff, if we wanted to run maybe the video asset that's perfect, because this is fire. So you guys get ready. We've got JR and Crypto Spaces right after this.
What's going on, guys? Listen, you have a lot of community members, fantastic community that you have here. Super excited to have you here to talk Oni Force, to talk the upcoming drop. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, just thank you. I'm doing beautiful. I just want to give a quick shout out to the chat right now is insane. It is blowing up. Thank you, Oni Force community, for showing up, and thank you for having us. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys.
How's it going, Crypto?
I'm good, thanks.
We appreciate you guys coming through so much. I know you guys you're 2 days out from the public sale. Obviously, like the public sale or the pre-sale has done really well. You guys have put together an excellent project. You have amazing art. You've got a community that is just so inspired, right, by what you guys have put together. I'd really like to know kind of like what's the Oni origin story, right? Like everybody likes the origin story. How did you guys who had that first seed that turned into this amazing, beautiful tree?
So the whole story, this is going to sound funny, but it all started with all of us together. We were in a clubhouse room just bouncing around ideas. And one of the questions we get asked a lot is why 7777? And if you think about Western culture, the number 7 is a very lucky number. Whereas around the world, there are other numbers, obviously, that are more particularly lucky, but we didn't want to be like every other 10K generative project that have kind of been putting out there as of late. So we're like, let's switch it up. And so we started with the 7777. And then next thing you know, we're bouncing around other ideas. And our team is huge into the anime scene and weeb culture. And so we kind of just ran with that. And it beautifully developed very organically, and in a span of about 2-3 days we had the perfect storyline kind of summed up, and it has been a wild ride. That's all I can say.
The artwork here looks absolutely fantastic. I just want to congratulate you guys here on the awesome drop that is about to happen here. Pre-sale, like Ronan said, has already kind of happened. Take me through the lore behind what you guys are building here. You guys even have a channel in your Discord where community members are doing role-playing series where they're creating the lore as you go. But what you mentioned anime, you mentioned weeb culture. Take me through kind of what is going on with the actual lore behind the drop that's upcoming.
Crypto Spaces, that's all you, my friend.
Yeah, well, so as JR described, we were hanging out in this clubhouse, just pitching the idea, bouncing up ideas. Okay, so what is this world going to look like? Who are they, and what do they stand for? And we had a little outline, not many details yet, and then we figured, how about we create a community where we sketch out some outlines, and then have the community interact with a couple of characters that we introduced. So fairly early on, we introduced the character Death. And the community went with it, and I think we launched our Discord in July, mid-July something, and right away we had 4 or 5 super engaged users. One called himself Canary, another person called herself Rose, and they immediately took on their own roles and described or wrote their storyline around what we gave them, and we incorporated that and developed that further, and it became this interaction between community and us, outlining where we wanted the story to go, but at the same time letting the community give them the possibility and opportunity to basically write their own characters and their own lore around what the framework we gave them.
I love it. And for me, my first experience with Oni was dropping in, and someone had said that there was a role-playing server, and I'm totally down. I love that type of stuff, and I hadn't written in a while. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to sit down and check it out. And I got in and I started reading, and I spent an hour and a half catching up. And that was at the beginning. That was before there were, I don't even know how many characters there are that are involved in the conversation now. So becoming nameless, right? Is something that a lot of people hear, and you see it in chat. And if anybody is curious, a nameless is is attached to the silhouettes that you see of Oni avatars, right? And I'd love to hear a little bit about shadow cells. Thank you. And I'd love to like kind of hear a little bit about how like Nameless was like this thing that kind of like, it was an event, right? Like it started with like Moira taking a name, and then like beyond that, like how it kind of grew into, okay, now we're going to use Nameless as like this rank, right? Almost to be able to then access our pre-sale. I'd like to hear kind of like that generation, like of how that took place.
Yeah. Again, it was basically an iterative process where
do you want to take a
we. Yeah, can you hear me? I'm actually talking.
We got you.
We introduced Death, and then we introduced fairly shortly after we introduced Moria, and nobody really knows who or what Moria is, but they are omnipresent, all-seeing. They're a bit mysterious. It's not entirely sure if they're friendly or not, but they take names. They gather intel, and they take names. And we introduced that mechanic first, and the community really liked it. But at the same time, we saw all these other NFT drops in real world happening, having a lot of issues, especially with the gas wars going on lately, where gas would spike to 2,000 Gwei in an instant, and we realized, like, if we want to create a collectible and have a drop that is successful, and where the early adapters and the community, the most engaged community members, actually have an opportunity to buy one of these collectibles and not be left behind because of some whales scooping up all the or jacking up the gas prices. Okay, we need some sort of mechanic to circumvent that, and that is where we got the idea of connecting the allow list to level of engagement, because we saw we had such an engaged community that we really wanted to give something back. But we also realized that we could actually use that engagement as a barrier to entry. And engagement is, people ask us often, like, how do you gauge engagement, right? So is it based on rank or is it based on level? It's neither. It's like how much. Basically, it's based on giving. How much are you and enjoying? How much are you enjoying yourself, and how much are you giving back to the community? Are you helping people out? Are you creating memes? Are you writing new storyline to the lore? Do you create artwork, derivatives, whatever? If you do any of those things, Moria will notice you, and it's been amazing. We have amazing artists amongst our community. We had amazing writers. Some people didn't even know they could write, but they wrote the most interesting parts of the lore, and it's we consider it canon now.
What a fantastic job of storytelling, man. You guys really turned the engagement on its head. Really, a lot of people are trying to sell NFTs and gain a community behind that actual action. You guys, even before you dropped, were creating, you know, a community where you had to do actionable things in order to participate in the drop. I just think that's fantastic, man. Like it's hard to do that. And really, people are attracted to stories, and you guys tell a great story here with the project. So if for someone who maybe isn't a part of Oni, although it, you know, based on the chat, it looks like everyone in the history of NFTs is involved in Oni, because that you guys are absolutely blowing it up. For someone that's not involved with the actual drop or didn't get in the pre-sale or anything like this, how does the actual detail work? So from a drop standpoint, so you guys have a sale that is upcoming. The pre-sale already went live and I believe it's closed. So how is this drop upcoming going to look for someone who's maybe uninitiated and just finding out about you guys today?
Yeah, so first of all, pre-sale is still live. So we entered pre-sale last Sunday, and as we mentioned before, we might give you pre-sale privilege based on your engagement. And we'll run the pre-sale for 4 days, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then Thursday, 5 p.m. CEST, so Central European Summertime, we will cut off the pre-sale. We will have a short cooldown period of like 1 hour, and then we toggle the switch and flip it to actual public launch. And it's going to be all on the website, but we will also before then have the contract verified for those that wish to mint through contract.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm super excited about the project. If anybody in chat, in chat would like to ask a question, you're more than welcome to drop it. We'll try to get it squeezed in real quick before we let the team go. But for me, I think that like my last question to the team would be, what does it feel like when you put so much and it takes so long, right? Like the build up to this is kind of insane, right? Because it's like 10, 14 days ago, the community was like a third of the size it is now, right? Like you guys saw like 3,500 people in the last like 24 hours or something on the Discord. Like, how does that feel as like creators who like put something out there and then had to watch that slow burn to where people could start to like really get put on and really understand and then come to the Discord and discover the community and be part of the RP? Like, what is that like for like creators? Because I think that like it's inspiring to hear.
To be honest, I think first off, I want to say I do apologize if I cut in and out. I'm in Mexico right now, so if the connection's bad, my bad. But it's honestly happened so organically. It's perfect because we have our, what I like to say, our base of the 7,777 fans that were like there from the start, that have really helped with like Oni daily living and just like super engaged. We posted a tweet last night where kind of like where it started and how it's going. We had about like 15 people in our voice chat, just like talking about Onis, and that was like I don't know if it was like a month, not even a month, like 3 weeks ago. And then last night we had a 10K member Discord. Like, and again, this was last night. We had a 10K Discord party. We're already way past 11,000. Like, we're growing at a rate of, in Discord at least, like over 1,000 a day easily. And it's just it's such a beautiful thing. So we're really balancing out how to make sure we still give our proper attention to that core family that was with us from the start, but also keeping in mind we want to onboard a bunch of new Oni fans and make sure that like everyone is happy, feels welcomed. And it's just been, again, it's been extremely organic, very beautiful. And like, even like as far as marketing, not a dime, not one penny spent on any marketing at all. It's just been community and engagement. And question I get asked a lot as far as marketing is like, how do you get so many people? What do you do? And like, the question is, to build a solid, engaged community, you have to do it one person at a time. So one individual at a time, you make connections. And if you see on Twitter, I've had a lot of people reach out and just say, thanks for like commenting back. Like,
oh, did we lose him? Hey, he's enjoying the sun in Mexico, man.
Yeah, we might have lost him.
No, you're there.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, sorry. But like every second is we get another engaged tweet or like or comment. So like I spend about 6-7 hours a day just going through Twitter, responding to everyone. So to build this community, we're doing it one person at a time. So really do appreciate you for having us on this show too.
Man, you mentioning a little bit about no marketing, one user at a time, one community member at a time. There's some Axie vibes to what's going on here, man, where you guys just have that organic feel of growing a huge community, but without kind of the unnecessary steps that a lot of these projects are trying to attack it from. So fantastic. I think one of the questions I saw in the chat that is flying at a million miles an hour, so apologies if we don't get to them all, is how do we do the onboarding process, right? How, like, if I'm a new user or a new community member that wants to get involved in Oni, what is the first step there besides maybe joining the Discord? What should I do next?
So once you join Discord,
say hi.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it said say hi, introduce yourself, and don't ask for pre-sale immediately. No, but for real. So what we did is, as I mentioned, is we had these very engaged members from the start, and we basically drip fed them these outlines of the story framework that we set out, and then we asked them if they could summarize it and repeat it to anyone new. And at first that felt maybe a little bit awkward, but soon it became second nature, where anyone just introduced got a welcome message from one of the other community members and explaining, okay, go look at the FAQ, have a look at the news. Link and one of our team members did a fantastic job of setting up the Discord in such a way that we have all these categories where we have information, or we also have a place where you can ask questions to the team. We had a school where I personally did a lot of explaining on mechanics behind minting from contract, or how to stay safe and not give out your seed phrases. We have a radio channel. We had the game room. We had all these possibilities, even for people that were maybe a little more introverted, to still enjoy themselves and then slowly adapt to the surrounding and feel welcome and basically embrace the Oni lore. And then obviously we have it's closed now. It's the Oni Daily Living, where the entire lore has been written, or is being written right now.
Very cool. Very cool. I think, like, to kind of wrap up, because we got when we asked, we got a ton of questions. I think I'm going to shoot off like 3 or 4 just kind of like easy to answer, kind of short, like quick fire questions. And then I'm going to finish with one that I really liked last. So to kind of get started, how many traits are there? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
We have well over close to 200.
200 traits. That's amazing. How long would you say, I guess, like a general just like idea, like start to finish, how long have you guys been planning this?
This has been going on for about a month now. So it's been crazy. I mean, a month in crypto space is like a year. So about a month.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was one other one that I wanted to sneak in. No, I'm going to go ahead and just jump to the last one, and then we can let you guys go, which is basically, as far as the brand and Oni as a project is concerned, how are you guys going to innovate? Like, how are you going to proceed? How are you going to continue to build out that utility? What are your plans for the future?
Absolutely. So our roadmap is looking very beautiful, and I won't go too deep into it, but we want to make sure our roadmap is attainable. And we see some projects out there that have like a 3-year roadmap, but you can't do that because you have no idea where the NFT space is going to be in 3 years. So we have I think it's an amazing roadmap where once we sell out 50%, which something tells me we'll be okay on that, maybe on day one, is we're going to start metaverse planning, where we're going to set up an Oniverse in the metaverse. So the Onis love culture, they love art, they love music, they love poetry. So we're going to set up a space in the Oniverse where we're going to share content from Oni collectors and Oni holders. So I know our team member, Link, she is going to be holding a female-only Yoni art show where she's going to be representing female artists, and we're going to have an art gallery show there. And then as far as 100% sold, we are looking at creating our own Oni Force comic book, which is like has me insanely hyped So we're gonna have a comic book. We have a clothing line coming out. So True Complex, who again our artist, who's phenomenal, he's created his own clothing line in the past, and it's just gonna be mind blowing. So these are the first 3 things initially that we'll be working on immediately. But for down the line too, we hear it loud and clear as far as a Oni Force anime, and that is down the road, but that's something that we definitely have our mind on. I just want to put that out there. Nothing is definitely certain on that, but it's something that we would love to do in the future for sure.
Can I quickly touch upon one very important topic for me personally, but also for this project, I believe?
Absolutely.
So not only do we have amazing artwork by I'm Complex, but we also try to be extremely inclusive. We haven't really seen that in the current collectible scene. So we included some dreads. We have a hearing aid. We have a couple traits. We have a really good mix of femme and masculine traits, and then everything in between. And we really wanted this project to be inclusive and not just cater at like a male demographic. So yeah, to us that was very important as well moving forward.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think you guys yeah.
Go ahead, Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say one last thing too. We also have if you saw our Time magazine cover, we even added as one of the traits is a hearing aid too, because we want to make sure we have, and there are other traits too that kind of make sure everyone feels accepted and comfortable with our characters. So we really wanted to hit every single, exactly what Crypto Spaces said. We want to hit every single demographic to make sure everyone can relate to an Oni. But thank you.
Thank you guys so much, JR, Crypto Spaces. You guys killed it today. Absolutely fan. I mean, one of the best, from an answering perspective, from an ethos perspective, one of the best interviews we've had here on the channel. So appreciate you stopping by today, and we're gonna do our best to get some Oni Force here and to get some NFT assets too, and be part of the community, and maybe collaborate down the road would be amazing, because we have our own NFT enthusiasts within our own community. So super excited. Definitely, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you. And everyone, go like and subscribe. Follow their YouTube channel. Follow the Twitter. We posted it on our it's our tweet. It's our pinned tweet. So make sure you go follow NFT Live and show them some love too. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much, JR. We really appreciate it. Take it easy, guys. I got my Oni, by the way. You're hopefully we get Oni. I got 2 Oni. I got them in my wallet. I can't wait. I'm sitting here waiting for that that reveal. Dude, I'm ready. Look at that teaser image, man. It's such a style and aesthetic that you just it's a vibe, right? We talk about our vibe a lot here, and we talk about what you feel when you walk into a community and you instantly just feel that love and you feel that connection, and you guys are you go in, you're wait, these are my people. And Oni really does totally encapsulate that. I love the fact that they made sure to include the fact that they're super inclusive when it comes to the art, because they're super inclusive when it comes to their community. You want to know why this project is popping off? Obviously, the art is amazing, but the community is the same as what we pride ourselves on here in LADZ. It's about the vibe, and people are welcoming, and people want to show you. If you go in and you're yo, I don't really know what's going on in the RP, it's going to take 2 minutes before someone either gives you a little wiki review of what's going down, so you have enough info to where you can jump in, or they're going to link you to an audio file that gives you an introduction to the RP. This community rallied around this product so hard because the team had a passion that was intoxicating, right? And I love it. I've loved it. Everybody, I'm a huge fan, man. If you want a community that I think is doing it right, check out the Oni community. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable, the community that they've been able to, draw in without having the drop yet. I mean, even before that pre-sale, what they've done just in that initial time frame between the creation and pre-sale, absolutely fantastic. And that's where you get the solid, how can I say this, a soul, right? Where you get the soul of that community being solid. It's not around some type of, it's not around some fungible token that people are just trying to profit off of. They were just there because they were interested in the story, and then you added an NFT to it, and that is the secret sauce, man. So fantastic. Thank you guys for showing up today. If you are part of the OniForce community, you guys absolutely blew up the channel today. Again, this is LADZ City Network. This is LADZ City. We host shows all week long. We have all different types of creators. We have our own NFT community as well. So they held it down too. I know we're giving Oni some shout out, but give some shout out to the tribe here, LADZ City, our vibe, our tribe. Thank you so much, lads, for showing up and holding it down. Ronan and Buff, if you guys have anything before we hop off, man, this has been a banger of an episode. Thank you so much for holding it down, guys.
Yeah, man, if Buff doesn't have anything to say, I just want to say shout out to the community, LADZ City showing up. We love you guys so much. We like the support that we get from our community is very much the same. So we appreciate you all for being here, hanging out, checking out the Personal Corner interview. And I guess you guys know what it is, right? It's our vibe, our tribe. We'll catch you next week.
What is up, guys? Here it is, your boy Kagi, back at it again with a new NFT Arcade Live, ladies and gentlemen. 7 days, 161 million, 24 hours, almost 30 million. We used to do that like in 3-4 months.
All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Another episode of the Layer 1 podcast.
This is a different Q and Ronan an experience going on here. So I like it, dude.
Welcome to Easy Street, broadcasting from the heart of LADZ City. We have content up the wazoo of the tip-top quality.
All right, welcome back to the best NFT show in the world. This is NFT Live. I'm sitting here with my main man, Crypto Buffalo. I'm Nifty Q. I am a co-host as well, and we are sitting in LADZ City. Obviously, we're going to have ourselves come up on the screen here. Look, this is so meta. Couldn't be any more meta than listening to yourself in the metaverse.
It's pretty meta.
Another episode of Good Morning Crypto. We're coming at you hot with the latest news from around the cryptocurrency industry. But that's what we're doing, man. We're adding shows, we're adding content creators, we're adding bits and pieces to our community, and we're going to grow the biggest content network in the industry, and we're excited to attack that, man.
This is LADZ City Radio
with Crypto Buffalo.
Our vibe, our tribe.
Welcome to Fun Uncle. This is a variety show where no subject is off limits, and in today's episode, we are discussing cryptocurrencies. For those of you who are not a part of LADZ City, please join the Discord, follow them on YouTube. Just type in LADZ.city into your browser. It'll take you to everything.
Thank you, lads.